Europe. Physical features. The continent of Europe can be divided into three physical divisions: the northwestern highlands, the great European plains, and the central plateau and southern mountains. The northwestern highlands include the mountains and plateaus of Norway and Sweden. They also extend into the northern parts of Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. These highlands are among the oldest mountains of Europe. They are made up of old hard rocks. They lie close to the coast and form a steep slope along the Atlantic coast. Branches of the highlands penetrate deep into the sea, forming a highly indented and rugged coastline. Many of these highlands are low and slope gently away from the sea. Narrow and long arms of the sea between steep and high cliffs are called fjords. The coast of Norway is famous for its fjords. The great European plains stretch from the Atlantic coast in the west to the Ural Mountains in the east. They have the White Sea and the northwestern highlands in the north. In the south lie the southern mountains. Several rivers drain the Great Plains. Many of these are small, but are of great importance to the busy industrial countries through which they flow. The radial pattern of rivers and the flat relief makes the rivers highly suitable for the development of inland waterways. The Great European Plain is not an absolutely flat plain, but consists of gently rolling land with scattered hills in some areas. For example, the low Valdai Hills in Russia, where the river Volga has its source. When two roughly parallel faults occur in the crust between long and parallel cracks, the faults may sink, forming narrow steep-sided valleys called rift valleys. The valley of the river Rhine between the Vosges mountain and the Black Forest is an example of a rift valley. Some of the hilly areas here are made up of volcanic rocks like Brittany in France, Ardennes in Belgium, and the Harz in Germany. Some of the hills are made up of sedimentary rock layers of limestone and sandstone. The greater part of the Great European Plains is covered with glacial deposits of sand, clay, and loess. Moving on to the Central Plateau and Southern Mountains, which form a belt of plateaus and mountains south of the Great Plains. The Central Plateau is made up of remnants of a system of old mountains and is not very high. The maximum height does not exceed 1,600 meters. It includes the Plateau of Spain, the Central Massif, the Vosges of France, the Black Forest of Germany, and the Plateau of Bohemia. The Ural Mountains in Russia are also a part of this old mountain system. To the south of these old mountains lies a chain of young fold mountains, which forms a barrier between northern Europe and the Mediterranean region, called the Alpine System, which is part of the Mid-World Mountain Belt that stretches from the Pyrenees in Spain to the Pamir North in Central Asia and beyond. The Alps are the center of this system and form a curved range covering most of Switzerland and parts of Austria, France, Germany, and Italy. These young fold mountains with high peaks, steep slopes, and deep valleys generally run parallel to one another. Mount Blanc is the highest peak in the Alps with a height of 4,807 meters. From the Alps, which is the central knot, mountain ranges branch out in different directions. On the west, a branch continues through a part of the Mediterranean Sea and emerges as the Pyrenees, which form the border between Spain and France. Further in west, it forms the Cantabrian Mountains of northern Spain. The Apennines run southwards through the peninsula of Italy, passing through Sicily and reappearing in Africa as the Atlas Mountains. At the eastern end of the Alps, the mountain ranges divide into two branches. One runs in the southeast direction as the Dinaric Alps, and the second branch from the eastern end of the Alps runs eastwards in a curve down to the Black Sea, forming the Carpathian Mountains, the Transylvanian Alps, and the Balkan Mountains. Between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea lie the Caucasus Mountains. Mount Elbrus, an extinct volcano and the highest peak of Europe, lies in Caucasus. The Matterhorn is a well-known peak of the Alps. It stands at a height of 4,484 meters in Switzerland, close to the Italian border. It is one of the most picturesque and famous peaks of the world. The Volga is the longest river of Europe. It rises from a small lake in the Valdai Hills and flows across Russia before emptying into the Caspian Sea. It is 3,685 kilometers long. Moscow is an important city located on it. The Danube is the second longest river of Europe. It is 2,857 kilometers long. It rises in the Black Forest region of Germany and flows through a large number of countries on its way from the Alps to the Black Sea. It is the only east-flowing river of Europe and one of the main transportation waterways of Europe. Vienna in Austria, Budapest in Hungary, and Belgrade in Serbia are important cities situated on the river. The Rhine is the busiest river of Europe. It flows northwards from its source in the Alps to its mouth at the North Sea coast, where it forms a delta. It is also famous for its picturesque Rift Valley. The Ruhr is a small but an important and well-known tributary of the Rhine. Rotterdam, the leading port in Europe, is situated at the mouth of the Rhine. The Thames is the most famous and important river of England. It is also the longest river within England. It flows 346 kilometers from the Cotswold Hills in south-central England to southeastern England, where it empties into the North Sea. The Dnieper is the third longest river of Europe. It rises near the source of the Volga and flows through Russia and Ukraine before emptying into the Black Sea, whereas the Don flows through Russia. It breaks into three distributaries, forming a large delta on the coast of the Sea of Azov to the north of the Black Sea. The Vistula is a north-flowing river which flows through Poland and empties into the Baltic Sea. Warsaw, the capital of Poland, is an important city on its banks. The Oder is a river of Germany which flows into the Baltic Sea. The Elbe River flows northwards through Germany and empties into the North Sea. Hamburg, on its estuary, is a leading port of Germany. The Seine and the Loire and the Garonne are west-flowing rivers of France. The Seine empties into the English Channel. Paris is situated on its banks, and Le Havre, a leading seaport of France, is located on its estuary. The Loire and the Rhône flow into the Bay of Biscay. The Loire is the longest river of France. The Rhône is the south-flowing river of France, which empties into the Mediterranean Sea. Marseille is an important port at its mouth. The Douro and the Tagus are two rivers of Spain and Portugal that empty into the Atlantic Ocean. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is located at the mouth of the Tagus. The Po is the longest river of Italy. It rises in the Alps near the border of France. It forms the fertile Lombardy plain before emptying into the Adriatic Sea. The famous city of Turin is situated on it.